We have been having the nicest streak of weather over here. We deserve it. I mean, it's Seattle, you know. Honestly, Seattle gets really, really, really good weather, you know? Like, people talk about it being too rainy, but then you take a look at the weather in most of the country, right? Where you have, like, freezing cold winters or blistering hot summers where it's really humid all the time. And it's like, Seattle's weather is pretty... The only people who have right to complain about Seattle's weather are people from Los Angeles, which, you know, is me. Um, but even then, you get to avoid the blistering summer heat, so honestly, it's just the nicest weather I've ever been in. Like, I guess, like, the Bay Area might be as good as weather gets, because it's just a little bit cooler than LA. I really think that people, like, talk up how bad Seattle weather is to keep other people from moving over here, which is gatekeeping and immoral. Got the UK weather? In Seattle? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Miles apart, not even remotely close. But that's like a misconception that a lot of people buy into because they just think like, oh, it's rainy. Oh, well, yeah, it's rainy in London or whatever. Not even remotely close. Seattle's beautiful. It's so murky in the UK, you know? When people think of Seattle, they think gloomy weather. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's just wrong. Like, it's not gloomy, you know? Even when it's rainy, there's usually like well-defined clouds with like the God rays peering through. There's a huge difference between when it's cloudy and rainy versus when it's like murky and gloomy and rainy. You know what I mean? You get me. Seattle reminds me of Vancouver. Well, they're like 50 miles apart, so that makes sense. Pretty much exactly the same climate. Full overcast is better than partial overcast with blue from the rest of the sky. I think you're mentally ill. What kind of lunatic prefers a full white, murky, cloudy sky to like patchy clouds with light pouring in from the clear sky? That's insane. Me? You're mentally ill. Go move to London. I like overcast. I don't... It's like have a blanket on. It's not, and I think you guys need help. This is just British coping. This has to be some kind of like depression symptom, right? It's variety. Yeah, nothing shows off more variety in the weather than a completely like monotonous unitone sky of like hazy white blinding you in every direction you look because the light's being diffracted through a solid sheet of cloud with a mist that never leaves. Yeah, it's perfect. Everything gray. Oh yeah, man. I love variety. Overcast equals blinding. Okay, you're coping. You might not live in an area where it happens very often, but if you have a light, solid layer of overcast, the sunlight gets diffracted evenly through it, and it's very white in the sky everywhere. Like when it's when the skies are clear and it's blue, if you're looking into the blue direction without the sun, no problem on your eyes. But if it's overcast, you have that white light everywhere. It's like looking down at snow on a sunny day, except it's up. That's how it's been in LA for the past couple days. Yeah, my folks have told me that. Unfortunate. We've good weather up here in Seattle though. Can I get a head pat? No, I don't offer those to people I don't know. And usually not to people I do know, too, because it patronizes. Congratulations, though, on finishing your social work undergrad, getting the last final done. Hell yeah. Took a bit, but, you know, life's not, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Thank you. We literally have to take vitamin D every day in the UK because how depressing it is. I mean, that's why, listen, okay? I'm a ethno-nationalist, but for environmental reasons, okay? Dark-skinned people shouldn't be moving into the UK because their skin has too much melanin to absorb the necessary amount of vitamin D that you get in the perma-overcast weather. It's purely for their safety. They're gonna get depressed, dude. They're going over there, their body's like, oh, you know, we evolved to survive like the heat of the Sahara, you know, and then they go over to London and their body's getting like 1/8 the amount of vitamin D that it should be. Wait, is that actually an interesting point? Is that real? Well, yeah. I mean, of course. It's literally like the exact opposite of what happens when white people move to like really sunny, hot areas. Like Australians, where Australia has, I think, the highest rates of skin cancer in the world, I think, because the environment there is very obviously meant to support people who have, like, basically fucking, like, pitch black skin, and Australians generally don't. That's because of the lack of ozone. I mean, to an extent, it's also just like really fucking hot there. Also, haven't we repaired the ozone layer? Florida equals hot weather. I mean, it's not like a coincidence that basically all of the Native Americans that Europeans colonized were darker skinned than the Europeans. Like Europe is pretty far north, right? Like if you look at it like on a globe, like even like the only parts of Europe that are even sort of like touching what we would consider to be the American like climatic belt would be like Spain and Italy and Portugal, which is, where the darker skinned Europeans are from. But you go further up than that, and it's like, you know, yeah, white people do belong in Finland, maybe, but like mostly for health reasons. I don't know. There are Native Americans with lighter skin and darker skin. Well, yeah, of course, because the Americas go all the way from like the Cape of Chile to the Yukon, right? So of course there's different skin tones there, but like, yeah, the indigenous people who lived in like the Mayan region are pretty goddamn dark skinned, right? And then the like Native American tribes that were up in, well, Seattle, right, are relatively lighter skinned, and then you go further north from there and so on and so forth. I mean, it's just, that's literally why we have different skin tone differences. The entire thing is just like UV rays and vitamin D. My doctor told me dark skinned people need 45 minutes of 45 minutes of sunlight compared to fair skinned people who need 15 for their minimum vitamin D3. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I mean, that's literally what melanin does. Like that's like the literal, that's like the one thing it does, right? Like it's not really like a multi-purpose genetic development or anything. It's basically just like how much light from the sun do you absorb? Why can't we be cooler colors? I feel like the human range of skin tones is pretty varied. I don't know. I want to be blue. Oh, you're like those motherfuckers who killed themselves after watching Avatar because they couldn't live on Pandoria, or whatever the fuck that planet's called. I get you. The joke is that black vampires should resist the sun more. Yeah, but like vampires are vulnerable to the sun because of magic, not because of like the amount of UV radiation, right? Otherwise, you run into bullshit situations like, well, can vampires be defeated by shining a UV flashlight at them, which is bullshit. I don't care if Blade, I don't care. That's dumb. They're magical creatures, okay? Nosferatu was very good. Yes, it was. It's extremely good. Have you seen Sinners? No. I'm signaling my allyship as a white man by not taking up a seat that should be occupied by a black body in the theater. But I'll see Sinners soon. Don't spoil Sinners. Well, I would have a hard time doing that because I don't know what it's about or what happens in it.